With the nuclear deal coming to a close, Iran is at a point of transformation. The country is expected to end its economic isolation and restore international relations, retaking its place in the global market. But will this really change the daily lives of Iranians? What is life really like for the 80 million people living in one of the largest and oldest countries in the Middle East? Well, we can't talk about Iran without talking about Islam. The religion is practiced by about 99% of the population and informs government policy, social structure, schooling. It is an integral part of both public and private spheres. So if you're a kid growing up in Iran, you likely go to school with kids of your own sex only and receive about 2 hours of instruction on the Quran per week. Gender segregation in schools has been the norm since the 1980s, but even before then, you'd likely ascribe to more traditional gender roles. Young men, but not young women, must go through mandatory military instruction in school, and men, but not women, are required to serve in the military after they turn 18. And upon graduation, some young men do so. Other graduates move on to a university, get married, or try to find a job. But many have trouble. About 1 in 4 youths is unemployed in Iran, and this has been the case for some time now. The country's struggling economy means half of its citizens often lack sufficient money for food and shelter. This affects what they eat, feel, and do on an everyday basis. The majority report feeling sadness, anger, and worry throughout much of their day. Economists argue the government's mismanagement, its reliance on oil, and history of sanctions resulting from their nuclear program have greatly contributed to the situation. Clearly, the hope today is that the lifts on sanctions will help change this. But what will likely stay the same is the influence of traditional Islamic values in government. Women are required to wear the hijab in public spaces and can be fined and even imprisoned for not wearing one. Cohabitation is also illegal. Couples who do manage to cohabitate report that they're constantly moving to escape criticism and avoid arrest. The country is in an almost constant state of tension between tradition and globalization. Though the vast majority speak Persian, also known as Farsi, the number of English speakers is growing, and there is a strong push for English instruction in schools, for example. And while the Iranian government controls the media and does not allow private independent broadcasters, Iranians find ways around this with illegal satellite dishes and, well, obviously the internet. Still, because of Iran's tight control of its personal narrative in the media, it's often difficult for Iranians and outsiders alike to suss out which allegations are true, many of which have to do with human rights violations, things like human trafficking of sex slaves, illegal interrogations, and executions. What is clear, though, is that life for Iranians is hot right now, both politically and 70 degrees Celsius hot. What may not be so hot is their sex lives. To learn about Iran's baby-making problem and how the government is stepping in, click here. Some 75% of Iranians under 35 are single, a fact that is already impacting their population. And for more episodes on what life is really like in other countries, check out our playlist here. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe to Seeker Daily.